Here I am again with the one of the most important topic of UPSC geography preparation. बहुत बार मुझे ये पूछा स्टूडेंट ने, सर ये जो थ्योरीज ऑफ फर्स्ट ऑर्डर लैंडफॉर्म इवोल्यूशन है, yes, continent and oceanic landform as such, those forms the very critical part of our syllabus as well. Continental drift theory and plate tectonic as well. So इस theory पे सर clarity नहीं आ पाती, just because these theories are given in such an no doubt extensive way as well, and that's why a technical way it makes this actually leads to a confusion as well for understanding, right? So इसीलिए फिर मैं इस वीडियो के साथ आया हूँ आपके साथ just for the discussion of continental drift theory. So guys, UPSC में इस पर पहले भी क्वेश्चन आ चुका है in GS1 मेंस एग्जामिनेशन, if you see, and this theory, as you know, that is very important, right? Very important, because it has led to a kind of foundation, okay, on which the next important theory that is somehow accepted, say as of now, plate tectonic theory was actually say established. So see, whatever the position of continental masses you see, okay, whatever position of continental masses you see on the Earth's surface, this position is maybe applicable for 2023, right? अब ये जो position है ये past में कैसी थी और future में कैसी होगी, that is what somehow the debate in this geological or geomorphological stream as. Okay, still we are basically in the mode of research, though say this theory, continental drift theory, and further the plate tectonic theory has helped us, okay, they have helped us just to understand those evolution as such. Still, this position of continental masses is what somehow variable as such. You will find variable in the sense this nothing in this world is as constant, and hence say these continental masses are moving from one location to another. Yes, this is what the very basic crux of this continental drift theory. We will discuss in detail as well. So देखो, since the very time immemorial, like say we were pretty much confused about that, geographer, geologists as well, they were pretty much confused about what exactly really this position what we see as such in the world, okay, this position of continents and ocean is really constant, or is it subject to some change, okay. So that time it was pretty much confusion, right? Alfred Wegener, he actually presented his theory, he put forth his theory in 1912, okay, on the onset of 20th century actually. So इसके पहले भी बहुत सारे prepositions थे, like say tetrahedron hypothesis है, you will find again some prepositions were there. However, these prepositions were not having very sound foundations as such, or sound footing as such, scientific evidences for that matter as well. So this continental drift theory, you will see it based on the very core, or as such the crux, that there is a drifting. देखो drifting का meaning क्या होता है guys? Drifting, it means movement. It means moving from one region to another, from one place to another. Yeah, drifting का meaning. Or the theory is about, it talks about the drifting of continent masses. As you know, say there are two first order landforms. Yeah, first order landforms. They are continents and oceans. So this theory actually talks about the drifting of continent. What it consider about the ocean, that remains a question. ठीक है, जो हम limitations में देखेंगे इसके, कि oceans के लिए कुछ इसकी considerations या understanding उतनी clear नहीं थी. ठीक है, see, we'll see. Now So I think now you are pretty having an idea about कि continental drift का core या basic foundation क्या है. देखो Alfred Wegener, he was a meteorologist. He was a meteorologist. That meteorologist is the one who studies about the atmosphere, climate and related aspects. So what he observed, in the many parts of the world, in Africa, in Australia, in India even, right, even in the North America, South America, you will find even though this continental parts, okay, or they are what having a typical type of climatic condition that is prevailing over to, in the contemporary time. However, there are many evidences, maybe fossil evidences है, कुछ rock evidences है, okay, कुछ mineral evidences है, कि जो indicate कर रहा है कि इस location पे ना कुछ conditions were like altogether different. For example, if you consider the case of like say even India as well, right? So India, basically if you consider India आज के डेट में अगर आप देखोगे तो tropical climate है, yes, basically Indian geography में climate में आपने देखा भी होगा कि India is a tropical country and having a monsoon type of climate. तो यहाँ पे जो species evolved हो गए, यहाँ पर जो rock type रहेंगे, यहाँ पर जो say resources developed हो गए, fossils रहेंगे, in fact those must be having a tropical existence of life. However, if you consider the case of this continental land masses, say they are having the evidences as in, say for what, like say for example India, even if this India or this peninsular part, if it is a tropical region, यहाँ पर कुछ evidences है of temperate type of climate के भी, polar type of climate के भी kind of evidences है. Same is the case with the Africa, even though now South Africa for example, even though basically ये say southern hemisphere में है and temperate region में it is having the say the fossil evidences and the evidences for polar climate as well. So he was pretty much confused here why exactly this variation is actually observed. Yeah, तो Wegener was fortunate enough कि उसके पास सिर्फ दो ही ऑप्शन थे, या दो ऑप्शंस थे, in the sense कि why this drift, why this observation or why this climatic and real time condition and evidences are somehow having misalignment. So here we are having two reasons for, right? एक ये हो सकता है कि on a global scale there must be a large climatic variation in short span of time. Yeah, climatic variation at a large scale. कि ऐसा हुआ कि बेसिकली इंडिया या किसी भी कोई कॉन्टिनेंट पार्ट पे ले लो कि क्लाइमेट इतना फास्ट चेंज हो रहा है, इक्वेटर से ट्रॉपिकल, ट्रॉपिकल से मॉनसून, मॉनसून से चाइना टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट, ब्रिटिश टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट, पोलार, टुंड्रा, सो दैट you will find the evidences of all those climatic conditions over on this landmass. Or else second वो जो option है that these continents are themselves drifting. These continents are themselves drifting from one region to another, and that's why they are experiencing a different types of climate and lead to those corresponding footprints of those climatic conditions, right? देखो Alfred Wegener was pretty much lucky कि उसके पास सिर्फ दो ही ऑप्शंस थे, राइट? क्योंकि दो ऑप्शंस हो तो एक कोई ना कोई तो सही होगा ना, राइट? हमारे यूपीएससी में ऐसा केस है नहीं, कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन में ऐसा केस है नहीं, हमारे पास हो गए चार ऑप्शंस और चार में से आपको कोई एक आंसर टिक करना है. देखो तो Wegener, at least on that count, he was pretty much lucky. So what he discarded this particular condition. First वाला ऑप्शन जो था, he negated that particular condition. However, he accepted this drifting of continent. Though it seems pretty much difficult कि यार such a large, huge landmass like continent, how this continent can move from one location to another? Is it really a possibility कि India जैसा country या Africa या Australia, like those countries, they are drifting from one location to another, and how much distance that is? That distance is like say almost few hundreds and thousands of kilometers. Really, is that a possibility, man? So he was asked by many scientists that time. कि सच में ऐसा हो सकता है? आर यू रियली जोकिंग? बिकॉज दैट कंसेप्ट वॉज समहाउ ए वेरी what landmark concept during that time, or somehow against the flow as such. Okay, against the flow in the sense कि जो कुछ जनरल परसेप्शन था इन द साइंटिस्ट, राइट, उसके अगेंस्ट ये थ्योरी थी कि कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट वाज देयर. एंड देन व्हाट ही डिड, now he with this particular say approach, he then started to find out, okay, or trying to look for the reasons for that matter. And then he came out with say few propositions. See, पहले तो अब उसने फिर ये substantiate किया, yes, there was like say these continents are drifting. They were in the past and they are now in the present as well. Okay, and what you see as in terms of mountains, what you see in terms of a oceanic body depressions as such, metamorphic rock formation, ये जो देख रहे हो island arcs as such, okay, these are all the creations of this continental drifting. And you will see, say he proposed then in 1912 his paper, okay, the research on continental drift as. According to him, say somewhere around in Permian time, you will find in Carboniferous period, okay, Carboniferous period, there needs, okay, or there was as such a one single landmass that is to be known as Pangaea, okay, that it is to be known as Pangaea. It means pan, it means देखो all, or geo it means earth, so it is like a all continents, okay, solid mass. However, on its peripheral part you will find Panthalassa, ठीक है, Panthalassa. Pan it means all and it means ocean. So there was like one supercontinent that is to be known as Pangaea in Permian time 225 millions of years ago, and there was only one single landmass or oceanic landmass that is to be known as Panthalassa. So this Pangaea and Panthalassa, these two are what the super continent and oceanic masses. These were only two land masses. Okay, बाकी ये जो आप देख रहे हो सब continental masses, those were not as according to Alfred Wegener. What happened? Say this Pangaea then started to partition, okay, or it started to bifurcate into. How and why? Say means why we'll look for in the reasons as well. See, so this Pangaea then broken into two land masses. एक था जो नॉर्थ में है लॉरेशिया, विच इज अल्टरनेटिवली नोन एज अंगारा लैंड, अंगारा लैंड. और इसमें कौन सा पार्ट रहेगा? देखो आज के डेट का नॉर्थ अमेरिका, यू विल फाइंड ग्रीनलैंड एंड यूरेशिया, यूरोप एंड एशिया, राइट, और कुछ आइलैंड्स जो है. एंड इन दिस साउथ यू विल फाइंड गोंडवाना लैंड, साउथ गोंडवाना लैंड, वेर यू विल फाइंड South America, where you will find Africa, India, Australia and Antarctica. And Antarctica, ठीक है. तो there were two land masses further that Pangaea got divided into, Laurasia and Gondwana land, and you know the ocean, sorry, the sea that was then created, it was Tethys Sea, the very first sea that evolved on the earth's surface, ठीक है, according to him. So it was like a very first sea that evolved on the earth's surface, Tethys Sea. अब फिर क्या हुआ? Now there are differential forces further, जो अभी हम next slide में देखेंगे, that what it leads to the further separation or separating those land masses into pieces further. जो अभी हमने देखा है साउथ अमेरिका, अफ्रीका, इंडिया, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, ये क्या हो गए और भी सेपरेट होना स्टार्ट हो गए, एंड देन दे स्टार्टेड टू मूव अवे फ्रॉम ईच अदर, move away from each other. And what in 2023, right, फिर ये drifting accordingly चलती रही, जैसे पहले फिर basically you will find Pacific Ocean as such, that was the remnant of Tethys. Then Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean started to emerge sometimes during Cretaceous and say Jurassic period later. Okay, that time you will find this evolved. Then afterwards you will find somewhere around 60-70 millions of years ago there was a upliftment of Himalayas, Alps, okay, and then Rockies mountain, Rockies as well. And then you will find this in 2023 what you are having, this present position of continents. Present position of continents. According to him, this position is not constant. किसी भी movement पे ले लो, आप देखोगे कि the continental masses are drifting. अब इनका drifting का rate different होगा. India, जैसे India का comparatively faster movement है, ठीक है? However, if you consider the case of Australia, however consider the case of Africa, Madagascar, you will find कि इनका comparatively फिर slow रहेगा. Though comparatively there, but that is slower than India. So this is what the present condition. Now then the question remains, which are those factors which are responsible for? Which are those factors which are responsible for this drifting as? Now for that matter देखो इसको साथ ही साथ याद रखना है, जैसे कि ऐसा नहीं करना है, I am telling you that कि यार ये जब हम सेकेंड रीडिंग में पढ़ेंगे, फोर्थ रीडिंग में पढ़ेंगे, फिफ्थ रीडिंग में पढ़ेंगे तब याद रखेंगे, नहीं. Kill, okay, just kill the doubt and your this concept, okay, then and there itself. In a sense कि direction और forces दोनों को साथ ही साथ याद रख लो, बना लो ट्रिक कोई. See, equator. Now this continental masses, they were like moving towards equator. They were like moving towards equator. Yes, अभी भी देखो आप equator पे move कर रहे हैं. So for equatorward drifting of this continental masses, according to him, the forces those are responsible. There are three, right? The forces, the force of gravitational force, then pole fleeing force, and the force of buoyancy. The force of buoyancy. So you know the force of buoyancy is what, simply जैसे कि न्यूटन का है ना कि to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So simply है कि अगर वाटर में अगर कोई सरफेस से मटेरियल डाल रहे हैं तो वाटर भी कोई काउंटर फोर्स क्रिएट कर रहा है, ठीक है? दैट इज व्हाट द फोर्स ऑफ buoyancy. Liquid, water in the sense fluid, liquid. Then pole fleeing force is what, simply the, you know, the position of the poles are again not constant. तो ये क्या करेगा, centrifugal force को displace करेगा and due to which it create the movement of continents away from the pole, ठीक है, away from the poles. That it leads to this movement and gravitational force. However, for westward movement of continents, ठीक है, westward, yes, ये थी देखो equatorward and westward movement is what, this way. So they are having a bit tendency to move westward as well. Eastward उस side है, westward इस side है. So according to him, what is the responsible for westward movement? That is the tidal currents. Tidal current is that responsible force say for movement towards westward. So देखो याद रखना भी बहुत easy है. Equator word अगर है तो GPB, equator word GPB, gravitational polar fleeing, pole fleeing और buoyant force, okay. और अगर westward अगर है तो it is only WT, tidal force, yeah, WT and EGPB, GPB कर लो या और भी कर सकते हो, BPG whatever, right? So ये ना यहीं पे clear हो जाएगा. Yes, you are not supposed to say a lot many means you are further effort for this matter. So these are the forces according to him that lead to the fragmentation and then drifting of continents, say, in various directions. And then what he believed, say, this lead to the movement of this continental masses, and you will see the respective formation. One more thing guys, एक और चीज थी इसी में, that what he considered why these continental masses are moving, you know, because say these continental masses are made up of cealic mass, right? Cealic mass है, and the ocean, according to him, they are actually made up of semantic mass, Sima or Sima, okay? Semantic mass. You will find this cealic mass, it according to him, it floats like a ship. It is floating on water. So this cealic mass is floating in possible direction in this semantic mass, और इसीलिए क्या कर रहा है, कंटिनेंट मूव कर रहा है अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम. तो सियालिक इट मींस कॉन्टिनेंटल मास है, सियाल, एंड सीमेटिक इट मींस oceanic mass. Semantic it means oceanic mass. So this is what the further thing. तो इसीलिए फिर ये ड्रिफ्टिंग और भी इजी हो रही है as according to him. However, then as you know the scientific proposition है तो obvious है. Say you must have asked about, right, means those are by the others, right, to submit those evidences for this matter. क्योंकि थ्योरी जब साइंटिफिक है तो आपको एविडेंस चाहिए. मैथमेटिकल एविडेंसेस है, फॉसिल बेस्ड एविडेंसेस है, पैलियोंटोलॉजिकल है, देन जियोलॉजिकल है, पेट्रोलॉजिकल है, बहुत सारे. ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट सी एपीरेंट एफिनिटी ऑफ फिजिकल फीचर्स. अब सिंपल सी बात है, देखो अगर कोई चीज अगर ब्रेक हो रही है, फॉर एग्जांपल ये पेन अगर ब्रेक हो रहा है तो इसके जो ये पार्ट्स रहेंगे, ठीक है, ये जो ब्रोकन पार्ट्स है दे विल फर्दर फिट विद इन ईच अदर, इजंट इट? या जैसे भी ब्रेक होगा, इफ दिस पेन इज एज, you will find this part will rather fit into each other. या हमने स्कूल डेज में देखो पजल गेम भी खेला था, जिक्सॉ फिटिंग, इफ यू रिमेंबर. उसमें देखो ऐसे कुछ होता था, यस, फिर यहाँ पे फिक्सिंग होगा, वॉट एवर दैट केस. ठीक है. और एक इमेज कंप्लीट करनी होती है हमको. सो दिस जिक्सॉ फिटिंग और फिक्सिंग सेम, that as these continental masses were united and then they started to separate, right, it leads to a evolution, right? Sorry, they are having got a jigsaw fixing within them, right? और this is what one of the evidences, because ये theory जो थी इसी base पे थी. Second, botanical evidences. Botanical evidences what you will find, botanical or distribution fossil placer deposits. See, now अब देखो जैसे कि अगर कोई लैंड मास है और वो सेपरेट हो रहा है तो वहां की जो एनिमल और प्लांट लाइफ है वो भी अकॉर्डिंगली बाइफर्केट होगी, सेपरेट होगी, बट फिर भी वो जो लाइफ है वो तो सेम ही थी. या इफ से फॉर एग्जांपल इन इंडिया, लाइक इंडिया अगेन बाइफर्केट अगर हो गया, जैसे कि अफ्रीका में देखो अभी रिफ्ट वैली डेवलप हो रही है, तो अफ्रीका का ये जो सोमालियन सेक्शन या ईस्ट पार्ट है, दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट, जैसे कि यहाँ पे करंट अफेयर में देखो गाइस एक न्यूज भी थी that this will be separated. ठीक है. So that is what East African region, not from this particular margin, but at least this is where. So it would lead to a separation of life. Separation of life as well. So whatever life living over in this part and in this part, you will find similarities between them. तो fossils में भी similarities आएगी, plant में भी similarities है, animal में भी similarities है, fossils में भी similarities है. So according to him, for example, Listosaurus or Glossopteris, that is what a leaves of one particular plant species, Mesosaurus and Cyanogathus. You will find these species are having their wide presence as on the Gondwana land. अब इतना ये केस है that कि जैसे कि अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल चलो हमने मान लिया कि मीजोसोरस या फॉर एग्जाम्पल ग्लॉसोप्टोरिस वाज लाइक से कि ये अफ्रीका में, साउथ अमेरिका में, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हो सकता है. क्यों? चलो मान लिया कि बेसिकली क्लाइमेट कंडीशन सेम है वहाँ पे साउथ सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में. बट यू रियली थिंक कि इंडिया में भी मिले? क्योंकि इंडिया इज एनीवे दैट इज ए नॉर्थ हेमिस्फीरिक ट्रॉपिकल कंट्री. तो इंडिया या इंडियन पेनिनसुला में अगर ये चीज़ मिल रही है, इट मीन्स दैट दिस स्पीशीज, दिस लैंड मासेस वेर यूनाइटेड. क्योंकि ये जो स्पीशीज है ये इतना लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस वाटर में स्विम करके नहीं आ सकती. आर यू गेटिंग इट? इट्स लाइक ए thousands of kilometers, and it is really impossible for that species to travel this much long and then adapt to the conditions as well. Absolutely not, right? So you will find these fossil evidences were considered. Placer deposits in the sense, placer deposits like gold deposits of Ghana, okay, gold deposits of Ghana and deposits in Brazil, they are again same. You will find rocks of the same age across the ocean. North America, and Europe. If you take Madagascar, India, Australia, right? They are still having that similarity varieties of the rock structure. Eastern coast of India, you will find the similar nature. Polar wandering is what that particular phenomenon. Let me know guys what is polar wandering in the comment box. Okay, अब यहाँ पे मैं ये टॉपिक फिर से एक्सप्लेन नहीं करूँगा, but yeah, it is considered as the evidence as. Okay, tellite deposit. Tellite just means simply those deposits laid by glaciers or glacier erosion as. So those are the tellite deposits. You will find these are what the various evidences then given by Alfred Wegener. However, देखो, this theory proposed in 1912 by Alfred Wegener based on Sial and Sematic, the differentiation. Then again it led to the start from Carboniferous, Pangaea panthalsa, Laurasia Gondwana land, Tethys Sea, and then further differentiation. Forces responsible westward and equatorward. Okay, ET equatorward tidal force है और BPG हमारा है, ठीक है. तो the force of buoyancy, then pole pulling force and gravitational force, and then the evidences those we have discussed. Yes, this theory as such explained like say the evolution of continental and oceanic mass. कि फिर अटलांटिक ओशन कैसे बना, इंडियन ओशन कैसे बना, हिमालयस कैसे बना, जापानिक आइलैंड आर्क्स कैसे बने हैं. Okay, this theory then explained it. However, it has many limitations. It has many limitations. You know what these limitations has? Say this continental drift theory is based on very ironic concept. Okay, very ironic concept as such. Like say where Sialic masses are like they were floating on the Sematic mass. However, अगर जब plate tectonic theory propose की गई तो that consideration or say the proposition was like this lithosphere is actually floating on asthenosphere, right? क्योंकि पहले ये केस था कि सियालिक और सीमा मास जो है फ्लोट कर रहा है सियालिक मास उस पर, बट लेटर प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थ्योरी हैज सब्सटेंशिएटेड दिस फैक्ट दैट लिथोस्फीयर इज रादर फ्लोटिंग ऑन एस्थेनोस्फीयर. तो दैट आर्गुमेंट. सेकेंड, इट टॉक्स मेनली अबाउट कॉन्टिनेंट्स. व्हाट अबाउट ओशन? Why oceans basically that basins are also subject to change? You haven't considered this particular phenomena. Even now the one of the major criticism of this theory is what on the count of potency of tidal current. Yeah, tidal force, that is tidal force होता है gravitational force of attraction of the sun and moon. Now this attraction force as such you will find अगर attraction force होता that it leads to the equatorward westward movement and it also leads to the breaking of the or fragmentation of the continental masses, then according to mathematical calculation Earth would have stopped its rotation. Earth would have stopped its rotation. तो अर्थ तो रोटेट कर रही है, इट मीन्स कि इतना फोर्स तो ये एब्सोल्युटली नहीं है. Potency of the other forces are also in doubt. Yeah, you will find this theory as such. Say modern plate tectonic theory has again even now this theory is having one more advanced limitation. Okay, it started from Carboniferous. Now many ask the question, tell me about what was the past say of this Pangaea in fact, or as what will be the future of this land masses further, right? But continental drift theory has basically based on some limited scientific footing, it was unable to explain those particular questions, okay, or answer those, and that's why say this theory as such rejected mainly after the when plate tectonic theory was proposed. Okay, so this is what about the continental drift theory. Guys, one thing you need to remember, देखो, even if this theory is not accepted as, okay, say initially it was criticized on that time itself, so scientific community actually say it haven't accepted this theory in its totality. However, the concept of continental drifting, okay, concept of continental drifting was always remained as what the very soul of this now plate tectonic theory as well. Okay, a continental or more appropriately a lithospheric mass drifting that remain the very soul of the next theory of plate tectonic theory. Okay, so the thing is भले ही ये theory reject हुई होगी बट इसने जो फाउंडेशन क्रिएट किया है फॉर द नेक्स्ट थ्योरी टू प्रपोज से प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थ्योरी बहुत ज़्यादा एनरिच्ड है इस थिंग से. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट से फॉर कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थ्योरी. I suppose all your doubts are pretty much clear now. आपको जो भी कोई डाउट थे और बेसिकली आ सकते हैं, I tried my best to answer all those, okay, by means of this video. प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थ्योरी पे भी हम वीडियो बनाएंगे, so please do watch it, like this video, share and subscribe as well. Thank you guys.